Little thing I love about the Egg White Grill is the toasty English muffin. It's toasted perfectly. It's just a little crispy, but not like hard crispy, but just crispy enough that when you bite into it, everything is perfect.
Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. From another sold-out Auburn Arena, this is the SEC on ESPN. The 11th ranked Tigers, Bruce Pearl's squad, trying to bounce back from a SEC opening loss, and they get the Georgia Bulldogs, now led by Tom Crean, as these two head coaches meet for the first time. Welcome courtside, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Sean Farnham. People know about Auburn. This is a loaded backcourt, and when these guys are right, they're almost unbeatable.
Yeah, and you think about this backcourt and what they're able to do here in this building. They are awfully comfortable in this great environment that Bruce Pearl has been able to foster, but it's the experience. When you think about Harper and Brown, they can both do damage from the outside. I think they're at their best, though, when they're attacking off the bounce, getting into the teeth of the defense. Speaking of defense, they're both elite at guarding on the perimeter. It's a big reason why Auburn leads the nation in points off of turnovers per game. Now, when you think about Georgia, though, it has to be about the front court. It has to be about Claxton and Hammonds. Hammonds has taken a huge step forward in his sophomore season. Claxton actually leads the SEC in rebounds and blocks per game. They have to dominate the paint in this one if they're going to find a road win.
This is a long and storied series. It dates to 1907. And after 187 previous meetings, Georgia leads the all-time series by a single game. Austin Wiley will jump center against Nicholas Claxton, and we are underway on the Plains. It's been an upset week in college basketball,
and in particular in this conference.
Already 13 ranked teams have lost this week. Okeke with the drive, and he's blocked by Nicholas Claxton.
And then we talked about that immediately, and you see the length is going to be something that Auburn is going to have to deal with around the rim.
Chuma Okeke holding his right elbow after that drive. Bruce Pearl is looking for guys who can get to the rim and finish. They're a great three-point shooting team. Nice look inside. And out to Jared Harper for three. Got it. There is a different energy in this building. The bigs handling it out front for Georgia at the outset, including Derek Ogbene, the senior, and he has it stripped away. Samir Dowdy will lead the break. 3-on-2. And a whistle and a step on the inline will keep it with Auburn. If you're a visiting team, how do you slow down the tidal wave that is this crowd, this audience in this building?
You don't turn the ball over, that's number one, and that is a big problem for Georgia. They average about 16 turnovers per game. And if you're going to give open court looks and give more opportunities with empty possessions to the Auburn Tigers in this place, they're going to run you out of here.
Auburn were forced turnovers, 6 in the country in steals. Samir Dowdy with his first triple.
Although they didn't score directly off that turnover, it's a turnover that led to those points.
And a Georgia answer from Tyshawn Hightower.
Hightower just a 29% three-point shooter on the season.
Officials ruled that last shot for Auburn at 3, but they're going to review it at the first dead ball to make sure his toe wasn't on the line. Inside to Austin Wiley off the glass.
If you watch the Ole Miss game the other night for Auburn, you would say that their offense appeared to be disjointed at times, that they weren't executing the way that they necessarily should for a team that has some experience on the outside. The first couple of possessions of this game, you can see what Bruce Pearl and his coaching staff had been focused on.
In that game against Ole Miss, which they lost 82-67, Bruce Pearl's team only made 8 two-point field goals.
But in his 5th season here, I mean, look, he took a program that before he arrived, their RPI of Auburn was consistently last to, or second to last amongst Power 5 conferences. Since Bruce Pearl has arrived, in particular the last 3 seasons, it's been in the teens. I mean, he's just done a tremendous job upping the schedule and then having success against that schedule.
Had a good trip to Maui in the fall. Went 2-1 there. Here's Wiley. And they're going to get Obede for the hold. And Tom Crean's wondering if that's going to be whistled on our bigs today. That's going to be a tough time trying to slow down Wiley. Also, Wiley saw constant double and triple teams last time out Wednesday in Oxford.
I don't think Georgia's going to do that. They don't have to with their length.
Brown cut off, and he turns it over. Bryce Brown, known as a three-point shooter, 7th in the league in scoring. And once again, Bruce Pearl missing that guy, that Mustafa Heron guy type player who can get in the paint and finish.
This is just one of those fun games for you and I, though, right? I mean,
aren't they all fun?
Yeah, but this one's a little different. I mean, it's like Mike Greenberg and Joe Tessitore did Battle of the Network Stars last year.
Yes.
We've got Battle of the former ESPN analysts. Tom Crean and Bruce Pearl. Both of them asked if they could call the game and coach at the same time. It's tremendous. Tom was with us just for a season and did a great job in studio last year, and now he's in his first season at Georgia, and already you can see the life of his program. The lifeline of any program is its students. Do the students come out? Do they believe in what you're trying to build and what you're trying to develop? And that's what Bruce Pearl did here, and it's what Tom Crean is doing at Georgia. They had an overflow of 700 students the other night against Vanderbilt at home.
They have 2,000 allotted student tickets. 2,700 showed up. They've got plenty of sellouts at Segment Coliseum, including Tuesday against Kentucky. Chuma Okeke commits his second person, and he'll have to come out, and Horace Spencer will replace him in a moment. This is Nicholas Claxton.
Well, I'll tell you, there may not be a more improved player in the SEC than Claxton. And just from where he was a season ago to the consistency that you're seeing out of him right now. I mentioned off the top, leading the SEC in rebounds as well as block shots. He has provided a presence, especially considering the fact that they lost one of their all-time great bigs in Yante Maton to graduation.
Claxton makes one of two. Harper dealing with the length of Tyshawn Hightower. He's had to deal with length defensively his entire life. He pulls from three and deep, and he's got his second triple. Brown gambled on the rip, knocked away by Spencer, and Auburn has a chance to push. Harper behind the back, and they get a push and a foul on Rayshawn Hammonds.
You have to understand, you go under the screen against Auburn and they are pulling. It doesn't matter if they're beyond the NBA line or right about the NBA line. You go underneath on Harper or Brown and it's going to be a shot.
This is an Auburn team that's 10th in the country with 10.7 threes made per game. You think sometimes they can get too reliant on the three?
I think they did the other night, and in particular with Brown. I thought that Bryce Brown started taking a lot too many one-pass, contested, tough three-point shots. There's a difference in taking the three-point shot when it's a good shot and having faith that you can reverse the ball and get it back than just taking it on the first side.
Spencer with the jump hook, the senior from Philly.
So that was something that Bruce Pearl and his coaching staff went through and walked through, wanting to get the ball down low.
Turtle Jackson with a long two. Quick one, Harper. He was feeling it. He is 2 for 2. Was 2 for 2. No whistle on that. Claxton misses the 15-footer, but Obede tips it in.
The energy from Obede. And one of the best attributes of them is sometimes a missed shot is a really good shot for Georgia. And you don't say that about a lot of teams, but they can really rebound the ball at the offensive end of the floor.
McLemore with a three. Anthony McLemore, just a 23% shooter from deep. It'll stay with Georgia this way. A hot start. The Tigers with a 5-point advantage on the Bulldogs.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get back to 100%. And in part by Hyundai. and Heineken. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
We hope you enjoy the new view.
Hey, Benny, there's one more gift for you.
Hey!
Grandpa!
You happen to see my favorite hat? Benny.
Portal. Buy any two and get $100 off.
Alongside Sean Farnham, number 11, Auburn trying to avoid the upset bug. They lead Georgia 13-8. First season for Tom Crean in the first two SEC games. But tale of two vastly different games. Tennessee, one of the elite teams in the country. Nothing went right for Georgia. Everything went in for Tennessee. Dogs just 1 of 20 from deep. Rayshawn Hammonds was scoreless. He had a nice game against Vandy, though, last time out.
Well, and the crazy thing for me, and you look at that, it really tells you how good, first of all, Tennessee is. Tennessee is elite level good. Could very well become a #1 ranked team in the country in the near future because of how good Rick Barnes' team is, how balanced they are, how experienced they are. But for Tom Crean, you ask him about that, he goes, look, what it showed me was that my team was going to be able to respond. We had an uncharacteristic game where we struggled to epic level proportions. They were disciplined enough to walk away from that game, watch the film, learn, and then apply it the next time out.
And the key there was Rayshawn Hammonds, who you just saw not only scoreless against Tennessee, but scoreless in the first half against Vandy. That's right, all 19 that he had against the Commodores came in the second half, and Georgia shot the lights out after intermission, 57% from deep. They hit 7 of 14 from 3. They haven't been able to carry over that offensive momentum here in the first 5 minutes of this one. Malik Dunbar, physical player, left it short, and Hammonds got the board. By the way, another reason Tennessee might be #1 sooner rather than later is Duke is on the ropes in Tallahassee right now with just a few seconds left. When it comes to Tom Crean taking over a program, it's a rough introduction to the SEC coaching fraternity. His initiation, lost to Tennessee by 46. They get Auburn today, Kentucky, 18th ranked team in the country Tuesday, and then Florida. There is no break in this league. Inside Hightower.
But Tom Crean's MO has always been a guy that can come in, he's going to grind it, he's going to work it, and he's going to get the program right. I mean, look at what he did at Indiana.
Well, and I think you have to also have perspective of what he took over at Indiana, because relative to what was waiting for him at Indiana, which was a tire fire of a hot mess, it's Dunbar for 3. He walked into a relatively stable situation at Georgia. Mark Fox had recruited upper-level talent, and everybody essentially was there. You mentioned Yante Mayton, whose eligibility is ended. At Indiana, they had hardly any scholarships. They had been hit by the APR bug. They were going under NCAA sanctions. That took a while to rebuild. There's Claxton with the jam.
Love his athleticism, his length. You're right, and what that is allowing him to do is with some of these young players like Claxton, like Hammonds, is now when he's going out and recruiting, he's like, come play with these guys.
Yeah.
When he was at Indiana, he had to be like, come play for me.
Please come play.
Like, are you interested? Do you know our history? We'll show you something. Here at Georgia, he's got some guys already that are selling points to recruits. And it's why his coaching staff, he's got a very good assistant coaching staff underneath him, trying to hit the ground running and catch up because the SEC's been recruiting at a real high level across the board.
Indiana ended up winning a couple of Big Ten regular season titles under Tom Crean, but when he took over, they had one returning scholarship player.
And people keep asking, how the SEC becomes so good in basketball. Well, it's really simple. You hire really good coaches, and then really good coaches go out and they sell the message. Whether it's Ben Howland, Kermit Davis, even in year one, selling the message to the guys that he already had. Bruce Pearl here, Rick Barnes at Tennessee, Bryce Drew at Vanderbilt, Mike White at Florida, Will Wade at LSU. When you bring in these coaches, what it does is it allows you to go out and project your message of confidence and, hey, you believe in me, I believe in you, we're going to build something special. And Bruce Pearl's done that already here at Auburn, brought home the co-conference championship last year, shared it with Tennessee, and now it's Tom Crean's turn at Georgia to try to build that same kind of model of excitement.
That was Malik Dunbar's second personal foul. Nicholas Claxton from Greenville, South Carolina makes the first. Another one coming. Two great big Monday games for you this week on ESPN at 7 Eastern. Zion Williamson, number 1 Duke, play host to the Orange in Durham. See if Zion returns from his eye injury that he suffered against Florida State this afternoon. Then at 9, it's Texas and 7th-ranked Kansas from Allen Fieldhouse. The Jayhawks have won 9 in a row against the Longhorns. Both games also on the ESPN app.
They're having to do it without Azubuike. This is a very different Kansas team now. They've got Dedrick Lawson, who is on the mid-season Wooden Award watch, averaging a double-double, the only player in the Big 12 to do that. His numbers are going to have to even improve from where they were because they're not going to be as good as a rebounding team without Azubuike.
Lane violation, another opportunity for Claxton. And he puts it through. Anthony McLemore left the lane early. Auburn 4 of 6 from 3. 3 of 6 from 2 to start this game. And a hold on Turtle Jackson.
That's his first. Georgia's third.
Wiley returns, as does Chuma Okeke. Remember, Okeke's playing with 2 personal fouls. Dunbar and Spencer take a seat. Pardon me, Dunbar stays out there even with 2. And there's Dunbar with the pump fake. The big guy finishes inside.
It's just a great job, though, pump faking and utilizing that pump fake, staying on balance, and then finishing strong underneath.
A gamble and a near steal from Javon McCormick. Rashawn Hammonds for 3. Turtle Jackson makes him pay. It's his first 3 of the night.
What I love about that play is while Hammonds missed his initial shot, he knew exactly where the miss is. So often that's the case for shooters, but they don't go after the ball. And they watch. He didn't watch. He went and got the rebound and then got the assist.
Samir Dowdy, reverse. Duke has come from behind to knock off Florida State 80-78. What a win from Mike Krzyzewski. They looked dead in the water as about 5 minutes ago.
They were trailing by 1 with 2.8 seconds left to go in the game. This college basketball has been fantastic. I mean, Marquette Creighton the other night. Marcus Howard goes for 53. A bad inbounds pass ends up giving them an opportunity to even get the 3-point shot off to send it into overtime. Hauser was able to knock it down. Some sensational finishes this week.
My ESPN app was working overtime Wednesday and Thursday night.
You want to know the best part about being in studio? I don't have to use the app. I have literally 8 different monitors right in front of me. The app is great, but 8 monitors? They're big screens.
You've got a very expensive man cave at work. Claxton too long on the 3.
Offensive foul on Wiley.
Wow.
Trying to carve out, he ducked into position and cleared out space. He just walked right right into Claxton. Claxton sold it, and the official bought it.
So it's a first on Wiley. With 0.8 of a second left on the clock at Florida State. Remember, that was enough for Creighton the other night, or pardon me, for Marquette to force overtime against Creighton. So one more play left there. A channel down on ESPN. Georgia has whittled away at this Auburn lead. Within 3, Claxton with length. Got the 2, tough 2.
Hey, Tom, you saw this Georgia team last year. Claxton had moments where you saw some flashes that he could make plays. They're having him essentially be the point guard out top and attack, hitting mid-range jump shots. And he has just bought in 100% to what Tom Crean and this coaching staff is selling.
And what a contrast what they're asking him to do defensively, banging with Wiley. He's able to get his hands on the entry pass. Charles Jackson.
Georgia's made 5 out of the last 7 shots. Made it 6 of 8
for 3. And Georgia with the lead. First lead of the game for the Bulldogs.
Both teams shooting better than 50% from the field. It's been fun.
With Wiley. Beautiful look over Claxton.
Great pin and seal underneath with the touch pass from the outside. Fantastic.
Claxton, 17 feet. 9 for him. They've gone final now in Tallahassee. Duke with the win. Tough loss for Florida State. Wiley getting physical, offensive foul. That was a foul made about 3 trips prior down the floor by Claxton. They're physical inside. Meanwhile, a thriller in Tallahassee will go to the studio and show you what Duke was able to do.
My name is Leslie. My favorite thing about the Grilled Chicken Club is the grilled chicken. Like, it's actually been on a grill. As soon as you grab it to go take your first bite, it's just like insanely good.
Our members shop a little differently, so we reward every purchase.
Let's see what Kate's in. For you, for all of us. That's for me.
Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Cam Reddish shooting 49% on uncontested threes this season. You got to guard the guy.
Well, look, we talk so much about Zion and R.J. Barrett. Cam Reddish kind of gets lost, but in the latest mock draft, they have him slotted to go 5th. And that's just how talented this freshman class is. Remember, they were number 1, 2, and 3 in the country in the ESPN 100. I'd also draw your attention to the guy that was number 4 on that list, Ja Morant.
How about his dunk the other night?
It was Vince Carter-esque. 6'3", leaping over 6'6". And Morant, by the way, finished on that game with 26 points, 18 assists. He's got a couple games coming up on ESPNU. You got to watch the kid.
There's Tyree Crump. Works free inside. Georgia extended its lead to 4. By the way, R.J. Barrett with another 30-point game today. Second most in Duke history for a freshman already. He passed J.J. Redick. Largest lead of the game for Georgia. And it rolls home on the answer for Anthony McLemore.
Good job by McLemore screening and rolling to the rim, though.
McLemore had that terrible leg injury last year against South Carolina. Compound fracture when he broke his ankle. He was an above-the-square player last year. Will that kind of explosiveness return after an injury like that?
It takes time. I mean, if it ever does, it does take time. And I think for him right now, you're still building confidence. You know, when you have an injury like that, there's a mental and a physical aspect to it, Tom. And I think he's playing well. Do I think he's playing as well as he did a year ago? No, I don't. In particular, he was such a great shot blocker a season ago. I think that's an area where he's going to continue to improve. But you also have to remember that when he goes out, all of a sudden there's new roles. There's new players that have stepped into roles, and sometimes your role also shifts and changes.
6 in school history and blocks. She's got a 7-foot wingspan.